Welcome to Coaching Minutia. I'm your host, Nick Carruthers, and I'm blessed today to have with us our new head girls basketball coach at Noblesville High School, Justin Bennett. Coach, how are you, man?
I'm
good to see you, man.
Good, man.
Good to have you, man. Welcome to the studio.
Yes, sir.
Man, excited to see what you're going to do up there. You know,
yes, sir.
I've known you for a long time now. I mean, when I first got in the Mid-State Conference, you were at Greenwood.
I was at Greenwood.
You was at Greenwood,
Yep.
And it's very few of us in that area, so it was good to see you, talk to you. It was always good competition.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We had some buzzer beater games,
We did.
you know what I'm saying?
It
was some good energy, man. So
yes,
congratulations, Coach. Man, we want to celebrate you, you know, as out there in Noblesville, man. It's a special place to be, man. They got championship history. You know, how you liking it?
I'm enjoying it so far, man. Big time pedigree out there in Noblesville. Got a chance to meet the kids, a lot of the parents. Man, everything is well right now. Just looking forward to this special opportunity, brother.
Good. And we like in day 2 of June, so you had a couple workouts?
Couple workouts. We started on Monday. We
Okay.
didn't work out today because they got graduation. We'll get back at it tomorrow, Thursday, and maybe a scrimmage on Friday, and then get ready for the rest of the summer of June.
Okay,
So, yep,
sounds good,
yep.
man. Speaking of graduation, I know you just have a son just graduated,
Yes, sir.
man.
Yes,
and he's
sir.
going to play ball, correct?
Going to play ball, Anderson University.
And so Anderson University, you're getting a good one, I guess. Getting a good one.
He's ready. He's ready.
Yeah, it's hard to be a child of a coach, especially if you play a sport that the coach coaches.
I will say this. I see a lot of it on the outside, and what I loved is these last 2 years be able to coach my son. You know, I've coached him in the summer, and that's a little bit different than coaching him in high school. But one thing we promised each other is, like, when we leave the gym, we don't talk about basketball at all.
Can you tell the people that?
When we leave the gym as a father, because I want to cherish my relationship with my kid, even my son. When we walk out of that gym, we don't talk about basketball at all.
Yeah.
Now, whatever I got to say, I say it before when we in between those lines. But when we walk outside and we get outside of that gym, it's a hug, it's dad. I don't talk no basketball. I don't say you should have did this. We are father and son.
I mean, I find that's a very hard thing for coaches that coach their kid to do, because you want to push your kid, because you want the best for your kid, because maybe you played the sport or play sports and make sure your kid navigates things maybe differently than you did as a player.
Right.
You know what I mean? You might be a little too hard on them sometimes, or it's hard to turn that switch off because it's in your mind too, just like it's in their mind.
There's a saying that comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, say it again.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Man, Coach Stacey Miss will say that all the time.
We talk about this, and you know, the one thing I will say is, like, you know, this is his journey.
Yeah.
I live my life. I've done what I wanted to do. My job is to help him navigate where he want to go.
Yeah.
And that's the way I got to keep it in perspective.
Yeah.
You know, I want him to be successful. This ain't me living through him. I want him to be successful.
Yeah, we call it the disease of left and right. When you so focus on everything else that's happening, you don't see the blessing that's right in front of you. Not everybody's able to be coached by their parent.
You're right.
To have them in their gym, to have them pushing them. But if you break that relationship trying to push them too hard, you ruin it all, and then you start looking, oh, this kid got that, or this kid got that, or I wish my dad wasn't on me so much, or I wish my kid did this better. You forget that this dynamic is special, man.
I tell you what, man, growing up without a father, you know, I was raised by my mom and my grandmother. And, you know, they taught me right and wrong. They taught me how to be empathetic. They taught me how to believe in folks. And, man, listen, I treasure the relationship with my kids.
Yeah.
And there is nothing I would do to mess that up. So if it meant me coaching him, I'm going to be tough on him. But I also understand, like, I'm dad. Yeah. And this is his journey. So my job is to help him navigate, man. That's it.
Yeah, I got a little behind the scenes on y'all relationship, man, because my wife and you at the time worked in the same building,
That's
man.
right.
And
That's
graduation, you got to hand your son his diploma.
So, you know, my oldest son, when he graduated from Greenwood has a tradition of where every student that graduates has to pick a person of significance to hand them their diploma.
What? That's special. I like that.
I think that is amazing. So, you know, when I was working in the Greenwood system, there were years where I may have handed out 10 diplomas, but the one that was special to me was my oldest son.
Yeah.
And I got to hand him this diploma. And so Jace graduating, he didn't know I was going to be able to do that. And they put me up in the front row and let me hand him his diploma, man. And for me to be able to do that to my youngest son, that was special. Yeah. That was special.
Yeah, I might have cried. Me.
I cried when I left.
Yeah,
I did. I didn't do it on stage, but it was
I don't care what nobody thinks. That's my boy. That's my boy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
so, And he even hugged me, man. I handed it to him. We took a picture. He gave me a hug in front of everybody. So,
Yeah, that's big.
That's big time.
That's big.
It made me happy.
But that shows his maturity too.
It does.
That shows his maturity too. Yeah, man. Well, man, shout out to you, man. I know you're gonna do good things. You know, you got a good father. You know, keep that relationship. You know, with your dad. You know, I'm like you. I didn't grow up with my father in my life in a positive way.
Got you.
He was around. There were things that happened,
right, but
it wasn't the best.
I feel that.
And so anytime you have any child with their parent dynamic, but especially a son with a father, special. Yeah. You blessed, young man. You blessed. So, okay, Coach. So tell me this. Let's get into it, Coach.
Okay.
Tell me about your love for the game, man. How'd you find it? Where you from, Coach? Give me your story, man.
Well, I'm from Decatur, Illinois, just a little south of Chicago. Grew up there all my life. And man, I was a track athlete. Mm-hmm. I love football. And I got asked to play some basketball because I was a little taller than everybody else. Like you always get
you
started.
got drafted. You got that hallway draft.
Come
Who
play
is that kid?
Come play because you're tall, young fella. And for me, I just considered myself as an athlete. I wanted to be really good at everything I did. Okay. And I ended up falling in love with basketball. And I just remember being able to watch Scottie Pippen and Grant Hill.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to be a big guard like them. So by the time I got to high school, I'm 6'3" or whatever, and I want to handle the ball and shoot it a little bit.
Yeah.
And man, it just went on from there. So once I got in the gym, I stayed in the gym as much as I possibly could. And when I left the gym for practice, I went straight to the park and played for 5-6 more hours. And I just kept trying to get better, man. So, end up going to Greenville University just outside of St. Louis, spent a little time overseas. Came back here, played some ABA, and got into coaching, man. So
that's why we get along so well. I don't know if you knew this, but I'm from the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
I'm from 123rd and Halsted, so I'm right in the hundreds.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When they call it Chirac now,
sir.
But man, that is a different place to grow up in.
Right.
I always tell my kids, y'all don't have to grow up as fast as we had to grow up. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's
true.
True.
But what we had to go through living in Decatur, living in Chicago,
right,
it helped. Like you said, kind of build that callus a little bit, right? You know what I mean?
I'm the oldest of 4, and I had to be the man of the house.
Yes.
I had to grow up real fast. And, my mom was, even though she was doing it on her own, she was super strict, and she always made sure we had what we needed, and she had standards.
Yes.
No matter what. And the one thing I always tried to make sure I did was never disrespect my mom because she was giving me everything she had.
Yeah.
And so to this day, I still feel like I'm that 13, 14-year-old kid around my mom and grandma, and because I have a tremendous amount of respect for the way they raised me, man. And so I wouldn't change it for the world.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. Yeah, my mom, same. I got the same love from my mom that you got for yours, man. Special lady, man. Yeah. So you got to play some pro ball a little bit, Coach. Okay, got that experience.
Yep.
So how does that translate to, helping these kids who want to get to the next level,
right,
who have this desire to play for the school that they like,
right,
or the coaching staff that they like, but the dynamic has changed so much, man. So how are you navigating that for your students?
I think when we grew up, it wasn't all this talk about trying to be D1 or are you D1. I think you just wanted to play.
Yeah.
Because the game was pure for us.
Yeah, I wanted a way out.
I was trying
to get out the city.
That's right. I don't want to go back home. Or when I knew I had a chance to go play, like I said, I stayed in the gym.
Yeah.
I got to make it no matter what level it was. And I think, I think part of the reason is we didn't have that social media.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't able to look to see what the kid in California was doing and how many offers he got. I worried about me.
Now we did go grab the USA Today.
We did.
I went to go because I ran track.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see what them 100 times look like in Florida and Texas because they got to run year round.
But you didn't see it every day.
No, you didn't see it every day.
Yeah, so yeah. I think that's a big deal is that, kids have constant things that they can see and look at to try to get this gratification, man. And instead of just being narrow-minded and focus on what they need to do, man. So, and it's hard, man. Playing at any level, it's hard. You have to continue to level up.
Right.
And I think that's part of what's missing with kids too, man. Like, kids are satisfied and they don't think that they need to continue to get better.
Yeah.
And that's a big talk with me, man. Like, you still got to have standards.
Got to.
You still got to work to get better, no matter how good you are. And there's always a level that you can get up to.
Yeah.
So.
Man, here's a question for you, man. So you're navigating just the mindset of the kids that we have right now.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you managing the parents' expectations for these kids, man?
Yeah.
And what's realistic, you know what I mean? And maybe what a kid has a strive and a desire to do, but is unable to do right now at where they are with the game.
Yeah. I would say that I've been blessed and fortunate to be in some programs that's got some really good parents. But I do think that that's because like I'm a blunt person and I'm very transparent. And so when I sit down with parents, I tell them the do's and the don'ts.
Y'all.
I just do. And like I am not willing to negotiate a lot of different things. And I won't talk about things like playing time or coaching decisions as made abundantly clear.
Yeah.
And that I'm always going to put the team first.
Yeah.
For kids who really want to get to another level, I am all about the player. And we're always going to make a plan on how we can get there. And I'm realistic in saying what's the best fit.
Yeah.
If I know a kid is not a D1 kid, but they may be a NAIA kid or a Division II kid, I'm going to have those conversations.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk to them about it. And, sometimes people may not like it.
Oh, that's the part.
Sometimes people may not like it, but my experience is it's not always the kid either. And I think you have to have some realistic expectations with those talks with the parents.
I think people say, tell me the truth. And I'm really big on telling people the truth.
Absolutely.
But sometimes it's not what they want to hear. So they're angry with you about telling you, hey, your kid is good, but they can be great playing in this environment at this level with this coach that's going to allow them to play this. Yeah. Or your kid likes the school, a parent likes the school, but that system doesn't fit for how she plays.
Right.
This is what she does well. These are the programs that she can thrive in, and they won't ask her to fit in be a round peg that fits in a square hole.
Right.
She can be herself and thrive and be happy playing the game. Those are hard conversations.
Those are hard conversations, and another part of that hard conversation is that parents and some kids don't understand that you can be effective without just scoring the basketball. Okay,
that's another repeat.
You can be just as effective by doing other things and scoring the basketball.
Dominant. You could be dominant.
You can.
Yes.
And I mean, the way things are set up now, especially the way the pace of play is and how things have changed. If you can average 8 points, but you are a really good defender and you can knock down an open shot and you communicate, coaches are looking for that.
Yes.
But that's not appealing, and that's not, the sexy thing for parents and kids.
Yes.
And so like every team, you don't need 5 people who can score. You need 2 people who can score it maybe. You need somebody who's willing to play defense, who's willing to get the assist record, who's willing to get the rebound record. You need those type of people.
My conversation with my players and my families now are coaches aren't looking for players that do just enough.
Correct.
The landscape for college basketball has changed so much where you can't get a freshman in, and it's such an investment for those coaching staff to develop that freshman to be ready to play. There's no guarantee with the landscape that freshman will be there. Yep. So you can't be a liability in those other areas like communication, like locker room presence and character, like accountability in the classroom, like rebounding, like playing defense off the ball and on the ball, like being an effective communicator on and off the floor. You have to check every single box right now to be that Division I player to get a consideration when they can go get somebody that's been doing it for the last few years.
How do you set yourself apart? And one of the first conversations I had when I met with the team at Noblesville, it was about being a good teammate. That was the first conversation. And I think they tell you that the first conversation was about being a good teammate. Yeah. And when I have parent meetings, one of the first things I talk about is when you say, hey, who wants to go to college and play? Everybody raises their hand. Yeah. And I say, well, you're going to have to be a good teammate. Because a lot of the times when our kids graduate, and this is life too, not just in basketball, you're going to end up being a teammate more than you are going to be in a superstar.
Yeah. Yeah.
In everything you do.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that. You can be a superstar in college by the time you're a senior, but when you start back over or in the pros or in high school going to college, you're going to have to be a good teammate.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you're not going to be the focal point anymore.
So I'm preaching the same sermon to my staff as well. Because we talk about a culture, we talk about standard as coaches, but your staff has to exemplify what you're asking your team to exemplify. Yeah. They have to live what they're preaching.
Correct.
So I'm very in tune to, hey, developing who my staff is and making sure that, myself included, we continue to grow into the people we're asking our kids to be.
Right.
In developing that culture within our staff, kids do more what they see than what you say.
Correct.
They are also empaths. So if there's a division or a shift in your staff locker room, then they know by how the feeling is in the interaction within the team. So I have been starting with myself first as the head coach. Right. I got to be right. I got to continue to grow, not just as a basketball coach, but as a man of God. You know what I mean? So I'm using that with my staff. Hey, this is who we have to be successful in the eyes of God, in the eyes of us as a coaching staff, as a husband, as a father, as a mother, as a wife, whatever. You know what I mean? This is what we need to do and show the example we want our kids to be. And let basketball be the tool to teach the discipline necessary to sustain that for the rest of your life.
Yep, I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned throughout this coaching and just in the workforce too is that you do have to be intentional about everything you do, from the people that you bring in, because with the landscape and how it is, why would I want to go hire coaches just because they can get kids right now?
Or they can run a drill.
Yeah. Like, you have to have people who are going to, they got to match your mindset. They got to match your personality and have a little bit of offset too, because you don't want everybody to be alike. But also you got to have some people who can relate to kids.
Yes.
You have to have people who can relate to these kids.
And move with integrity.
Yeah. And not make it about them. You can't have hidden agendas and make it about them. Man, it's got to be about a collective. And I think that's why I feel like everything I do has to be intentional.
There's a level of humility that you need to be a leader.
Absolutely.
To lead people. It doesn't matter if you're
to be a leader, you got to serve.
Look, if serving is beneath you, then leadership is above you, because leadership is service.
That's right.
It's serving the people you've been blessed to steward.
That's right.
Whether they're a player, whether they're a co-worker, whether they're staff, whether it's your wife, whether it's your husband, whether it's your children, you have to serve. Yep. I mean, there is no doubt that in your household you serve your children.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt in my house I do the same. So why would we not do that with the people that are entrusting us to impart the best of ourselves to their children? Absolutely. It's a service, man.
It is a service.
Yeah.
And it's, a lot of people, I think people like us, Coach Mitchell, we're in it for the kids. We want to serve. Yeah. But there are other people who are in it for the position.
Yeah. Or the status.
Or the status.
Or the status.
And what is that serving? Yeah. That's serving themselves.
Yes. Yeah. Or using the kid to maybe get a better job.
Correct.
Look, I can don't even get me on the recruiting stuff and the high school level, which is not allowed, but it is what it is, man. Right. But back to the coaching, the leadership, the service. Who was that coach for you? Who was that coach for you? That it could be more than one that stood out in your life, that helped give you the direction you need to now. You're like, look back on it like, man, that coach was really impactful to me.
I would say it's a number of people. One, my grandfather, he passed away a few years ago, and he was a person that I looked to that kind of transformed his life. He was an alcoholic, did some things that I saw in my lifetime that like I wouldn't agree with, but I also saw his transformation. Yeah. I saw him change it around and be better for it. Yeah. And he was a big, big, big part of how I became a person when I became an adult. As far as the coaching aspect of it, man, I've had so many really good coaches. Yeah. It all started with a gentleman that was my 7th and 8th grade coach at Thomas Jefferson Middle School. His name was Dennis Brew. Dennis Brew.
Dennis Brew. Shout out, coach. Shout out.
Dennis Brew. And he saw me as the person. He knew I was gifted, but he was the one that would say, hey, young man, you got to do things this way. Yeah. Hey, man, when you come in here, make sure your pants pulled up. Hey, man, if you want to. So he was the one who kind of taught me how to be a guy.
He was on you about the little stuff.
About the little stuff.
The stuff that get on our kids' nerves now.
Yes. And there's a saying, like Bruce Arians would say, coach them hard, hug them after.
Yes.
He was that kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so to this day, since 7th and 8th grade, he watched me all through high school. And to this day, I call him about once a month. He lives in Florida, plays in a jazz band, and I still talk to him.
Oh, wow.
He's like a father to me. And so he was one of the ones that made the biggest impact. And, I've got some other people, Tim Cruz, he was my football coach.
Tim Cruz.
At Stephen Decatur High School, older black gentleman. Okay. Was all about doing things the right way, taught me how to be a man. And so, I think that's big when you don't have a father in the house and you're looking. But you get some people who don't do things the right way, but they always see who have potential, and they say, hey, you can either be a follower or you can be a leader.
Yeah.
And I chose to be a leader.
I think it's so important, man, that we as coaches realize that we might be the only structure, the only love, the only ears that actually listen to the players, the only Jesus that they see, to the players that we serve. Because we don't, until you really get in a locker room with a kid, get on the court with a kid, get through some adversity with a kid, that kid may not open up to you till a little while later, right? But once that kid does, you might have a bigger insight to, this is why he's struggling with that, or this is why she's struggling with that, or this is why that was so, it seemed small to me, but it seemed big to her that it was an issue.
Right.
Because there's some trauma there, because there's a lack of this there, there's a lack of communication. There's a communication barrier there because they're not allowed to express themselves or don't know how to.
Correct.
How many times have you had a teammate or a player who expressed themselves with a lash out because they've never had a dialogue that they weren't point the finger at?
And I think that's been a lot. I think that's happening in the school system too.
Right now.
And as a dean of students, for former dean of students, like that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And there are, I think we all know there are certain people in the building that these kids want to come to because they trust you.
Yeah.
And they know that you're invested.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the big thing, man, relationships. People think because you're an adult that these kids nowadays are going to respect you, and that's just not the way it works.
No.
You have to build a relationship with these kids to get them to that point.
I think as adults, what we got to understand is these kids don't have the interpersonal skills that you and I grew up with. Like you said, we didn't have social media. Mm-hmm. So a lot of their communication is digital.
It is.
It is open to interpretation because it's text or passive aggressive messaging.
Correct.
Right? Hitting messaging, where when you're having this type of dialogue, eye contact is a threat to our kids.
It sure is.
Tone of voice is a big thing to our kids. The proximity is a big thing to our kids. You can be as loving and compassionate to someone as you possibly can be, but if you're too close to him, he feels some kind of way. If you're too far from her, she feels like you're yelling at her.
Well, look at the workforce today. Everything we do is via email. Everything we do is via text.
Yes.
I want you to do this via text. Nobody has a face-to-face conversation.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's left up for interpretation. And I think that is why these interpersonal interactions are just not as great, or people can't problem solve because, when we had to read the book.
Yes.
We had to listen to the teacher. We had to take the note. And
like write out.
We had to do
your thoughts, your feelings, your
Correct.
questions.
Correct.
You had to like take time and write it out. You know what I mean?
So
and then doing this and having a question answered by an individual and not a device.
Correct.
You can ask Siri whatever, or but you can't do that. You couldn't do that back then. You had to
even
talk
just
to the person.
thinking about remembering phone numbers.
Oh man,
you got to remember phone.
I struggle now with it, and I'm grown. Okay, because we didn't got so programmed.
Yes, I think back then you had to remember those numbers.
Yes.
Streets. I think we could say we walked around we knew everywhere.
I knew everywhere. I could give you details about the street.
Right.
The landmarks.
That's
what I mean?
Right.
Like
so.
Yeah.
It's definitely different.
Okay. I like that, Coach. I like that, Coach. Okay, so tell me this, Coach. You got a wonderful career going, Coach. Like I said, you were at Greenwood, then you transitioned to Tri-West, correct?
I went to Tri-West, yes.
Tri-West, and then that led you to Riverside, here in Riverside?
Yep.
Okay, and now moving to Noblesville, okay? Now you teaching in Noblesville as well?
I'll be going over as a health and wellness teacher and helping out with strength and conditioning.
Oh, so you'll be able to get in the weight room with the kids too, which
absolutely.
is a big thing.
It is a big thing.
Your strength. You guys got a pretty good weight program over there too. I've been in that weight room before.
It is refinished and nice. Tony D is our weight room coordinator over there at Noblesville. He's great.
Okay.
And I've met him a couple times already, man. And I'm excited what he's got for these young ladies to do in the summer to get to work, man. So
yeah, and you guys planning some events this summer?
We are planning some events this summer.
Good. Yeah, we gonna be moving around a little bit too. We didn't get to go to everything that we wanted to this summer, but we moving around, trying to play some good competition.
Right.
I want us to, if we got to take lumps, I want us to take them playing against the best competition we can.
There you go.
Because it's going to help you get better.
Yep.
And our sectional is no cupcake. Your sectional is no cupcake
That's
either,
right.
Coach. You got some hitters in your section.
Some heavy
man.
hitters,
Yeah. But you'll be just fine. I know they'll be excited, man. So tell me this, Coach. I always ask this question. If you could go back in time, okay? And talk to your younger self as a coach. Give me 3 things that you would tell yourself to help you along your path. Like, I call it hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
Okay? So now that you have been through it, literally, what would you go back and tell younger Justin?
As a coach?
As a coach.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The first thing would probably be don't take things personal. Right? Don't take things personal.
I got to tell myself stuff now sometimes, you know?
I'm in a good place to where, you know, because I care so much about the kids, like everything else just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, and you just got to kind of let it go, because at the end of the day, you know, especially with coaching these kids, we're the ones that's in the gym with them.
Yeah.
We see them every day. If we're in the school with them, we see them in the school. So like we're having just as much contact with them as the parents are.
Yeah.
So you know, not taking things personal. The other thing would be, you know, care a little bit less about the outside noise.
Say that again. The outside noise.
Care a little bit less about the outside noise and just focus on what you got in front of you.
Yeah, a lot of it's distraction, man.
It is.
You know, it's opinions, man.
It is.
You know, I saw. I'm not sure. I wish I can give credit to the podcast I saw it on, because I watched a little bit of this podcast, and the guy was asking, "Have you heard about the man, the woman, and the donkey?"
Okay.
And he gave this illustration. I'm gonna give it now, okay? I want to give them credit when I can, though. You know, the man and illustration. It's a man, a woman, and a donkey, and they're traveling, and a man and woman are walking, and they're walking with the donkey, and somebody in the distance, some outside noise, says, "Man, that man and woman is stupid. Why don't they just get on the donkey and ride the donkey?" So somebody else sees them, and the man is riding the donkey this time, and the woman is walking, and the donkey is carrying the man. And they say, "Man, look at that guy, man. He don't care about his woman, man. It's terrible. That he gonna make her walk while he ride the donkey, you know?" So then somebody else sees him, and the woman's riding the donkey, and the man's walking, and the donkey's carrying the woman. They say, "Man, she must be bougie. She don't care about her husband. She making him walk, and she's a passenger princess. You know what I mean? Whatever." Okay. And that was their perspective. And then lastly, the man and the woman, they were finally riding the donkey, and the donkey was carrying both the man and the woman. And someone else said, "Man, that poor donkey. You got to carry that man and that woman." That outside noise, man, is always going to be in a situation where you're critiqued. And for us as coaches, our work is on display on game day. So when you win, the kids win. When you lose, the coach lost the game for the kids. He didn't prepare them. He didn't call the right plays. You didn't use your timeouts right. You didn't know adjustments. But they don't know the interactions of what's happening inside, not just the locker room, but the individual child that we spend time with, that we're trying to be our best for, that we might have to adjust for in the heat of the moment. You know, that adversity doesn't develop character, it reveals character. You know? But that outside noise will change what your response to that adversity will be.
Absolutely. And I think the less that you care about it, the better you'll be.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is a comparison.
Yeah.
You know, I think people think because my kid puts 2 hours in the gym compared to the other kid that's putting 2 hours in the gym, that it's supposed to be the same result.
Yeah.
And, you know, I used the analogy the other day when I went to practice, like, you know, when you put popcorn in the popper, do all the kernels pop at the same time? No, they don't. No, they don't. One gets a little hotter than the other one. They all start popping at different times. And I think that's a microcosm of what we do as coaches.
And
like
some never pop.
Some never pop.
Some never pop, coach.
Some never
Always
pop.
some season to let that potential that was unrealized,
That's
right? Even though they were put in the same situation.
That's right.
Under the same pressure and the same heat.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what they do is they compare to everybody else, and you just can't do that.
Oh, man, that's a good one, coach. Yep. Okay, so we got 2, okay? Outside noise.
Yep.
Let it go, okay?
Yep.
Don't take things personal.
Yep.
Give me one more.
Be you. I think early in my career, I wouldn't say I was trying to please people, but, you know, I didn't feel like myself at times. I wanted to be me. And I think, you know, it came to a point to where I just said, you know what, I don't care. I'm just going to be me.
I think our kids are scared to be themselves because they're scared of the judgment.
Yep.
Will you like the real me?
Yeah.
Will you accept the real me? Because that acceptance thing, man, or that the likes and the shares and the comments, it's like a drug, man, to our kids. It's an addiction.
It is.
You know what I mean? So you'll be whatever is necessary to get the likes from someone else Like you said, you never find yourself, or you lose yourself.
That's right. I think that's the biggest thing. Once I felt like I could be myself, and I didn't care what the perception was, I think that's when I became better. And when I went to Greenwood, I the situation wasn't great. I was the fourth coach in 4 years.
Wow, I didn't know that.
The culture wasn't super great. We had a COVID year we throw in there too. I think that job right there is where I became a better coach because I had to coach him.
Yeah.
I had to learn about myself. I had to learn how to develop a little bit better, as opposed to when I was other places before. I had some decent athletes, and then, in girls basketball, if you got a couple of decent ones, you can get away with some stuff.
Yes.
But Greenwood, we had to make players, and COVID year we go 3-15, and I'm playing with a different lineup every game because of contact tracing and different stuff like that, and I had a situation where there were some parents who wanted me to lose a game against Decatur Central. It was the last game of the season. We had only won 2 games, and they felt like we should just play everybody. Just play everybody.
This is not the year I was there.
No, this was the year before you got there.
Okay.
Just play everybody, and this was made known. We should just play everybody. We're not going to win the sectional. Blah 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 blah. Now, 1 or 2 things can happen. I can do that, and just make everybody happy, or I can coach the way I need to coach to propel us for the future.
Yes.
And so I chose to propel us to the future. That meant some seniors didn't play.
Yeah.
That means, we go into a double overtime game and we win. And so some people were upset about that. All right, mostly parents. But then we come back after going 3-15 in a COVID year to make it to a sectional championship the next year. And I think it's because of that moment.
Yeah.
It's because of that moment, because we teach kids how to persevere and make a decision.
Yeah.
You don't have to give in to what everybody else wants. You have to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
To get where you want to go.
And you earn what you get. I shouldn't have to give you playing time.
That's right. That's right.
I tell my kids this all the time. I tell my parents this too. Once a month, twice a month, I want you to come and practice. Come sit and watch. I want you to see who your kid really is. Yeah. When it's hard, when she's competing against somebody that she knows, when she's uncomfortable, I want you to really see it. So on game day, when I need to trust your child or a child with A, B, or C, guard this player, box out that kid, remember this play. Yep. You got every TikTok in the world, every single dance, but we can't remember the inbounds play that I know we've run in practice multiple times.
That's right.
But you want me to play this kid because, they go to practice every day, correct. Yes. But they earned the playing time.
Correct.
If I give them everything, then they won't value what they earn in life.
Which is where I think AAU culture is right now. It is so hard for people to value the winning, because I think there are people now who would just rather see their kids do great things, regardless if we win the game or not.
Amen.
And we are in a world where a team has to do everything together. And I love the AAU, by the way. I'm not knocking it.
Yes.
Because I coach it too.
But it's broken right now.
But we got some things we got to fix.
It's broken right now.
If I got kids that I know I'm playing for Coach Nick, I'm gonna have a conversation with Coach Nick about what I want to see them get better at. And when I coached AAU, guess what I did? I reached out to those coaches and said, hey, what do you want them working on?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to play 60 games. I want to help them get better.
Yes.
And that to me should be the goal. I think college coaches know you can score and do some other things, but can you remember that play? Are you willing to play some defense?
I want to tell you a little story, man, because I coached AAU and I coached high school ball, and there are very few AAU coaches who are willing to have the conversation with the high school coach about, hey, what does she do for you? Or come and watch your kid play.
Right.
Because if she's on your team in the fall.
Yep.
You know it. But how many do you actually come and watch them play?
Yeah.
But AAU he's actually a director. His name's Bruce Harris.
Okay.
His daughter is Tyasha Harris.
Okay.
Plays for the Fever now, plays in the WNBA. But one of my players played for him, and we're on the phone tag teaming. What schools have you talked to that's interested in her? These are the schools that I've talked to that's interested in her. Hey, this is what her grades and attendance is. Because that's what they're asking for right now.
That's what they're
asking for. Grades and attendance. They want to know if you're showing up.
Yes.
If you didn't come to school, you didn't go to practice.
Yes.
If you was late, they want to know because you're getting paid to play.
Yeah.
So me and Bruce, we're having these conversations. I talk to this school. Oh, I talk to that school. Cool. This school want to pull the trigger, but they haven't yet. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. Yeah. This school has said that they are really interested. They're going to get on the phone call with her so that she can get the best of what she wants.
Yeah.
As a player, right? Yeah. We're working together to tag team that. But how many dialogues like that are happening?
And I just think it's a status thing. You know, everybody wants to be able to claim that they did
got
something
them that
with
offer.
This, you know, and so to me, that shouldn't be the goal.
No.
It should be to help that young man or that young lady get where they need to be, and have kids that I've coached went on to play. Yeah, but I'm not posting it and putting it everywhere because the kid earned that.
Yes.
I'm a part of the journey, but the kid did that.
Yeah, I'm a very small part.
Yeah.
I tell her
I'm a part of the journey. That's it.
Even when kids have left my program, I tell them, and I tell the parents, I want to thank you for allowing me to impart a small part of myself.
Absolutely.
Be a small part of her journey.
Yeah.
Because it's not about me. This is her whole life's work has turned into this opportunity for her, or her even going to another. Thank you for letting me be a small part of that kid's journey. I'm going to love that kid regardless if they graduate, if they transfer, if they decide not to play next year. That's a big thing right now in sports. Right now, we're losing really good athletes because the sport is hard.
It's hard.
Like basketball is one of the hardest girls' sports. You know what I mean? Outside of rugby, outside of soccer, this is the only one you get to hit somebody and it's cool. And it's asked of you on offense and on defense.
That's right.
You know, so the sacrifice of her body, man, girls are going, I'm going to go play volleyball, or I'm going to go cheer, or, softball, it's not as big in the Midwest, but like in the South, softball, huge, you know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
I'm going to go play those sports because I really ain't got to touch nobody.
Right.
I can make a team, the big roster's a little bit bigger, I know that there's a rotation I'm going to be in. There's more people actually on the floor at the same time.
Right.
Basketball is 5, man. 5 and playing right now. And and I know, in high school, high-level high school ball, 4A ball, you playing about 6, 7 kids, and you got about 8 or 9 in the jersey. That's it, man. You might have 25 kids in your program, 30 kids in your program, but you only playing them 7.
Unless you have a special group, it is what it is. You got a rotation of about 8 people. And
it's what they earn, right, Coach?
It is what they earn. And that's where I think, like, creating a culture of competition.
Yeah.
Like in practice, like, when we played, me and you could still be friends after going at each other in practice. Now, you want to take it easy on people. And that stuff, you got to call it out.
I know you're trying to take my head off.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to take yours off too.
Because we want to get better.
But that's respect.
That's respect.
That's respect.
Correct.
I know I can't go easy on Coach, because if I go easy on Coach, he got game. He going to embarrass me out here. And it ain't even personal. He's just trying to get his move off.
Right.
Trying to get this shot off. I can't let you just cook me, bro.
But how do I get better if you take it easy on me? And for me, like, anybody who is really competitive, and you got some kids out there who are super competitive.
Yeah.
How am I going to get better if you take it easy on me or I take it easy on you?
Yeah.
And that does us no good. Nobody wins in that situation.
Man.
So
Coach, we have a segment, man, where the previous guest leaves a question for the next coach. And the question that was left for you by Coach Kevin Merriweather, who was our guest before you. His question was, why do you do it, man? Why do you coach?
Why do you do it? I got into coaching. A good friend of mine, Randy Saxon, was over at International High School and got me into coaching after I came here to Indianapolis. And it was girls basketball. I had a younger brother and sister who passed away when I was in high school, and they had some health complications, and my sister was not able to do some of those things. My why is because I think some people take it for granted. I think people take the opportunity that they are given so for granted, which is why I'm so passionate about it. In that, if I could trade places and have my sister be able to do some of the things I can do, or my brother that passed, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And
I think, when you have the opportunity to do that stuff, you don't take it for granted. And so I stay in coaching because I know there are kids who really do want it. And I think you sift them out, the ones who really want to do it. And so my why is because I see, especially coaching girls basketball, I see my daughters, my sisters, and some of these kids that I want them to take advantage of the opportunity, because it's not just about the ball bouncing.
Man.
It's about them learning the life too.
Yes.
How you gonna be able to rebound when something don't go wrong in life? You're gonna need a teammate to get you somewhere.
Yes.
Right? You're gonna have to assist somebody to get somewhere.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss a ton of shots when you're trying to put in for jobs and everything else. You're gonna have to work hard to get. So it's all applicable, and that's my why. I really think I'm, like you, like Coach Mitchell, some other people, just we're put in this ministry because this is what we are supposed to do.
And it is a ministry, man.
And it's a ministry.
It is, man. I hope kids, whether you play for me or not, you never see me. I'm just Nick.
That's it.
I hope you see him through me by how I treat you. Because I can't preach to you in the locker room.
Yep.
I can preach to my staff. I preach to my staff all the time.
Yeah.
But I can't preach to the kid. But I hope you see him by how I treat you and how I live.
Yeah.
That's what my walk with him is. You know what I mean? My ministry is how I treat my wife. Yep. How I treat my coworkers, how I treat the children that I serve, how I treat fellow coaches, you know what I mean? I know we're going to speak at halftime. We're going to come to half court line. We're going to laugh. I'm going to ask you how you doing, how your family's doing and everything. When the ball go up, you trying to outcoach me, I'm trying to outcoach you.
That's right.
I'm trying to get my kids to destroy your kids. You trying to get your kid to destroy mine. But afterwards, in that handshake line, I'm not just shaking your hand. I'm making eye contact. I'm saying good game. I'm showing genuine love. That's right. Because I owe you love. I don't owe you everybody access. But I owe you love. You know what I mean? I gotta love everybody, even your enemies. The Bible says even love your enemies.
That's right.
Gotta love and pray for them too. You know what I mean?
You got to.
But you said something that kind of touched me a little bit, man. I've been really blessed to have a young lady come from Toga, Africa, last summer. She's actually a college ball player. She never played high school ball for me or anything. But she came here, and I've been training her, or working her out while she's home from college, because she's playing ball in college right now. She told me about this young lady in Uganda. I can't remember her name. I'm gonna find it out. I'm gonna find it though. Yep. I'm 13 years old, cold. I seen video of the girl. She's cold blooded.
Nice.
Tore her ACL. Wow. Died in the ACL surgery. This is a 13-year-old girl who's playing for the Uganda national team. That's how good she was. And all she wanted to do was come to America and play ball. She tore her ACL and didn't make it out of the surgery. And we our players take the game for granted. Tomorrow is not promised. Nah. This girl's so good, she's playing for her country. She would have been playing against the U.S. Not here no more, bro. Just off a torn ACL. And I think our kids, if they realize how special of an opportunity they have to be an American, to be here, to play at a school in Indiana, you playing Indiana ball, coaches who actually study and watch film and break down and scout report and call other coaches like what you see, because they want the best for you.
Absolutely.
Not for themselves. And they be like, man, I'm not going to practice today. Or I don't feel like going to weights. Or I don't want to run this 17 because coach is tripping. Or coach always on me about not rolling my shorts. Like, we care. We care.
We do care.
We care. So, man, you said that I just remembered that, man. And the young lady that I coach, her name is Miriam. I call her Mimi. Yeah. And, man, she's on fire for the game. On fire for the game, on fire for God. You know what I mean? She's talking about today. She tell me, we had workout this morning. I'm going to pick her up at 5:20 in the morning. We hitting the gym. You know what I mean? A local gym. And she like, Coach, I want to get a tattoo with this scripture. I gotta pick the right scripture though. Because this basketball, God has blessed me to be here because her country, she's from Toga, Africa. It's on a no-fly list right now. So she can't even go home to see her family. She's been here for almost a little over a year now. And she's here just to try to play ball to make a better life for herself. That's the sacrifice she's making. She has not seen her family in over a year.
Well, and I think that goes to speak to where we are, in our world here. There's a sense of entitlement and not appreciation. And so, if I could do it all over, man, I probably would try to work 10 times harder than I did. And I felt like I worked hard to get where I wanted to go. But I tried to do it even harder.
Yeah.
And I just don't think there's a sense of appreciation for what you have in front of you. It's always about entitlement. And that's something that people need to realize. Yeah,
and she's talented too, Coach. She is 6'2" guard.
Wow.
We did a shooting workout today. It's 16 spots. You shoot 15 at each spot.
Yeah.
And she shot 57% from 3.
She got some sisters.
Somebody,
where they at? Come on over.
Her family's in Africa, bro.
I know it.
And but she wanted, man. This is at 5:30 in the morning, man. 5:30 in the morning. We working out for 90 minutes, just me and her. And she going hard. And she's sweating. You know, so I mean, like that type of stuff. I wish that our kids had the drive for the game, like that. You know what I mean? That they loved it like that, man. So okay, Coach. So you answered the question from Coach Merriweather. Appreciate that, Coach.
Yes, sir.
What you got to leave a coach? You got to leave a question for the next coach.
Oh man.
You know, it could be anything.
Anything,
man. You know.
I would say the question for the next coach would be, if you could change anything about the game of basketball, what would it be? If you could change anything about the game of basketball, what would it be?
If you could change anything about the game, what would it be? That's a good question. That's a good question.
Would it be?
Yeah. Now, I don't even know what I would say to that question, Coach. I really don't. So, well, I'm excited, man. Got to bring you on, man.
Yes,
and man, it's always good to speak with you, man. It's been too long, you know. So I know your path been taking you different places, man, and you know trying to get your boy out of school, and he's off to college to play ball. It's exciting, you know. But I'd love to have you on again, man. Come on, and maybe we'll get Coach Mitchell to come on with you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna kidnap Coach Mitchell. A lot of people been bringing up Coach Mitchell. You know, he's a legend, man. He's a legend, man.
I love him too, man.
So,
get him in here.
Yeah, we'll get him on with you too, man. Well, it's great to have you, Coach.
I appreciate it, brother.
you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I want to thank you for joining us on Coaching Minutia today. I want to make a quick little announcement. We have a culture development program, a course that we're going to be giving out for free in our Discord, okay? And it's Bible based, based off the Beatitudes from the Sermon on the Mount. That we, you know, I've been led to share this with everybody. The Bible says, as a disciple, you've been given the gospel freely, so give it freely. So you ain't got to pay for this course. You ain't got to pay for nothing. I'm going to give out the coach's version of it and the player's version of it. Now, it's both biblical, okay? So I know if you're not in a Christian school, you can't use it. So we will have a non-biblical version coming out that's school-based. But for right now, these two versions will be coming out. This one coming this week, this Friday, will be posted with our next episode. And the following one will be coming out at the end of June. So you can go right into your fall workouts with some locker room development about how we treat each other. How do we deal with conflict? How do we deal with community and fellowship? How do we compete? How do we give God glory and live the way he would have us live, not just as coaches, but as players? So thank you for joining us on Coaching Minutia. Absolutely. I look forward to having you again.